Now I've got a list of things I was going to bring up about why you made your life very difficult. I suppose, first of all, I guess the fact that your sister's in the same group. Then there's the fact that you're now with your husband in the same group, and he's like the manager, and he's everything really, isn't he? In that sense, tour manager, arranger. You essentially play what is easily defined as folk music, and that runs into, it means you run into a lot of trouble, doesn't it?
Yeah, because people, I think, we're not exactly, we don't always do what people think we're going to.
Yeah, because my reading of it is the folk purists get upset because you try and update the music. But everybody else on the outside, the word folk is a terrible barrier to go through, in a way, isn't it? Because they've got such terrible kind of preconceptions of what the word means.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say because, I mean, we don't exactly know who the folk purists are.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
it's not
I
like
think
they come up to us and go,
yeah, what have you done to that song?
You know, and people don't do that.
I'm sure we rub some people up the wrong way.
But
some
you
people
can do, aren't you?
like it, and yeah, we just aim to kind of please ourselves. Really, we just want to be kind of interested and stimulated by our own
because
music.
we grew up in the folk world, you know, and most of the songs are drawn from that experience or from that upbringing and all the love of folk music that has kind of inspired in us really, and we still go to folk festivals. Yes. And even if we're not playing, you know, because we really enjoy folk music.
Because that's one of the interesting things about what we call folk music, is that all along it's trying to transmit stories from sort of the past and from previous centuries even, but somehow they've managed to endure because they've always had a relevance to whichever generation is singing them. But it seems to be, because of pop culture, I guess, it's a moment when those songs are the most threatened, aren't they? Because they're harder and harsher, scarier, more gothic. But do you know what I mean?
But they're realer.
But
realer, that's not a word.
In a way, the stories are kind of exciting, aren't they?
Yeah, because actually, you know, it doesn't all work out nice and shiny and lovely most of the time, you know, it does some of the time, but I think, and that's why they do strike people, the stories, because they're kind of universal truths within them, really. And yeah, I think as well, it's about the art of storytelling really as well, and that's what I think drew us in as kids, you know, and has kept us and captured us, our imaginations, is the art of storytelling. And
you say you had a folk upbringing, so what exactly does that mean then?
Well, for us it probably means different things to different people, but basically our parents got into folk music in the 60s, and our dad helped with, he was in a longsword dance team, and they helped revive a local mummers play.
The whole summer was folk. We used to go camping at folk festivals, and when we were kids we used to be in a club dance team, and we would get booked there, so we would get to go there for free and watch all this music, and it was always great. And we also family parties. You know, everyone has to bring a song to a family party, whether you can actually sing or not.
It's a family thing, you're singing songs, you're having a great time, and then by actually achieving a kind of success, people really liked what you'd done. It got a lot of acclaim, people loved it, but it kind of did that put you in a new situation that slightly surprised you, that
yes,
you know, that people were sort of criticising for the weirdest things, weren't they?
Like wearing dresses.
Yeah, I know, fancy 2 young girls wearing dresses. Yeah. Crazy.
So you were aware of that then? You were aware of that sort of sense of...
Yeah.
Where did that come from? I mean, was that the real purists?
I don't really know.
We don't know, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
We don't know who it is or how many people it is.
You know, it's just website chat things, and really that's like overhearing somebody having a conversation in a pub or something. So
I'm sure lots more people don't like us. They just don't write about it on the internet.
And I suppose folk music or whatever, or traditional music, or whatever we want to call it, allows you to basically involve the people, the landscape, the history, all those kind of things.
And I think that's another reason why it's been, people like it, because they can identify it from somewhere rather than it just being from somewhere in the mid-Atlantic. And I think we're conscious as well growing up that there was a bit of when Irish pubs suddenly came onto the scene and Irish traditional music became more fashionable, and for a little bit, for a window, and kind of thinking, oh, we know we have this too, but like not everybody's aware of that, and I suppose it's because it's English as well, that sometimes people have a problem with being English or
Yes.
being able to be vocal about that in a
Yeah.
positive way rather than
Yeah.
negative connotation.
Yeah, no,
There's so many people that don't know about English folk music. So many people I talk to, and they say, "Oh, do you mean Irish? You play Irish music?" And I'm like, "No, English music." And they're always really surprised.
And I think it's not something to be embarrassed about, and it's not imperialistic or any of those kind of connotations, because they're about like normal people who have working lives and things that happen to them, or sometimes they're about, you know, the more storytelling, that they're about like kings and queens or something like that, but they're not kind of, there's a lot of, like, it's a Scottish song actually, I'm saying English now, I was thinking of Blue Blues and Blind Drunk, and how kind of how working class that is, and a lot of folk songs come out of people's like trials and tribulations and hardships, and that's not about being right wing, you know, at all. It's, in fact, in the environment we grew up, it's more the opposite, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. It's about the working man, you know, and woman.
So the other thing is the implicit political context of the music, and probably another reason why you make life slightly difficult for yourself as well, you know. Making music that has a sort of, it does have a political subtext in a way, because it's about people fighting for their rights, it's about independence, it's about the underdogs. I think folk music at its best is also, it's mystical out here, but it's also about underdogs, isn't
yes,
it?
it is, yeah. And it's also about things that people don't like to talk about as well, like domestic violence, like, you know, infant death, what other things have we covered? Lots of infant death, lots of loved ones dying, and lots of all sorts of things that actually...
What draws you into that world? That's that world of folk as well that's kind of interesting. It's the sort of the you know, the witchy side as well. That's sort of slightly...
I think because we've grown up listening to it, it's not as shocking.
Yeah.
So it's like...
and it's all around you, it doesn't seem like taboo.
It's not taboo. So if it's a good story and it's a good tale and it draws... and you have an emotional kind of attachment or impact when you hear that song, then you feel like you want to tell that story.
You're really loving each other's voices. There's a way, Becky, you look at Rachel, it's unbelievable. You know, like you're just, it's almost like you're hearing it for the first time.
There's something about when Rachel sings, especially a song called Sangate, the Sangate Dangling song, and Patience Kershaw, both of them particularly, like, it's the way she embodies the character. Like, I genuinely believe every single night that she is that person, and that's happening to her, and I'm like, oh.
That's true. I think I see that.
Do you know what I
It's
mean?
almost like you're a 5-year-old listening to all this really scary story.
Yeah.
Got that quality.
I believe it. I think it's true, and I'm like, oh no. But yeah, I think we have very different voices, don't we? And
so I do.
Kind of intrigued.
I love to see. I never know when she's just going to do something like that she doesn't usually do, and I'm like waiting out for those moments. And yeah, I do get proud big sister moments, which I try and hide from Becky.
I'm like, Rachel,
don't be so embarrassed.
As long as you don't mind, then, that you are folk.
No, certainly don't.
That's
proud to be
fine
folk.
by us.
Becky, darling, thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Cheers.